Hello, my name is Amina and I'm your decision-making specialist. And today around here is May 17th, 2020, which means day 62. Yep, still here. I don't know where you are, and I hope you're well, and as many other people as possible are well. And one of my neighbors was talking to me, and I asked her how she was doing, and we hadn't really seen each other outside. And so she came out and I came out, and we kept our appropriate distance. We have a fence in between, so we had our face mask on. We thought we were perfectly safe. And I asked her how everything was. And she said, well, we're coping with it. And she has 2 children, a boy and a girl, and her husband usually works out of the home, meaning outside. And so she was telling me that she was in a huge quandary because their whole family was going to have to do some negotiating. And I said, how is that? And she said, well, my husband's company has decided that rather than bring people into the office, if they didn't have to, they would just continue having everybody work remote at home. And that they had figured out that getting the technology for him to work in the home and carry on the business was a better choice than for them to have to figure out how to reconfigure the office and keep social distances and all the precautions. And then she found out that her son's college was not going to open in the fall like they had expected, that it too was going to have a virtual classroom totally. And then she has a teenager in high school, and she found out that her daughter's school also is going to be virtual, that school district has decided not to take any chances, and that in the fall they too would have remote. And she found out that her job, she manages a restaurant, and she found out that at their restaurant they were only going to be able to have 25% of the people at one time that they used to have, so they would not be able to be at full capacity. And she is really concerned that her servers and the person that does the bartending in the evening are not going to really have the full-time job they had before. They're not going to get the tips that they depend on. And she's going to have to figure out the physical distances of the tables and how to seat people, how to have the servers have their masks on and gloves, and take care of the tables and not risk any kind of cross-contamination. So there is a lot going on just in that one household. And I started thinking, I looked around, there are a lot of households in my neighborhood. And then I thought more exponentially, there are a lot of restaurants in this place. There are a lot of companies, lots of schools and students. And what most of us refer to as a new normal may not be anywhere near the normal that we've been used to. It may be just totally new, and we can scratch that word normal. And how long will it take for in-home schooling, in-home working, 25% out working? Gosh. And then we're not real certain how long that will last before maybe there's another shift. All of the uncertainty. There is no such thing as a new normal. Normal is when there's a consistent pattern long enough that it becomes natural. That is not what's going on right now. A lot of thinking, a lot of negotiating, a lot of unknowns, and a lot of faith that everything somehow is going to turn out okay. And so we're talking a lot of decisions and a lot of management and a lot of leadership and organization. And I am just wondering how it is for you and how it is for the rest of everybody out there. These are major life changes and shifts in your work habits, in your education habits, in your financial well-being. In amongst that is still the health issue of the pandemic, which is still uncertain. So I'm going to offer today that the word honesty come forward. And I don't mean that you've been dishonest. I don't mean that you've been discounting. I don't mean that you've been pretending in denial. I just mean there is some raw, real shifts that have taken place out there and are going to take more for us when we go out. And so, it's just more than being with our masks, with our gloves, with our hand washing, with our distancing. We're talking some real unknown rules, regulations. And so before you venture out there, if possible, check with your employer, check with your schools, check with anybody that you can out there in your community to know what it's going to be like. Will it still be that you don't go into the store, that you order and then you pick it up curbside? Will it be that you stand in queue to go to the grocery market? In your area, will everyone wear a mask or not be able to go into the store? Or is your community one where they just are believing that it's okay and the virus is just over mediaized and over inflated and that it's not as bad as what the numbers say? So not only do you need to communicate with your family, with people out there that you're going to be working with, places you're going to be shopping, I'm going to offer that there be an internal conversation with yourself about what you believe, about what's real for you, how you're going to be able to follow your beliefs and your values out there. with people that may not share them, and how you want to respond if you're wearing your mask and somebody else isn't, if you're wearing gloves and somebody else isn't, if you're keeping social distance and somebody comes up a little closer than what you'd like, how will you manage it? It's really good to have a plan for when that happens, and it will. So just take a few minutes and just go inside yourself and see how you want to be out there in an entirely different way. And how is it that you want to relate to others so that you feel safe and healthy, that you have enough information to make the decisions that you need to make to stay as healthy and safe as you want to be. Just give some thought to that and be really honest with yourself about where you get your information, what kind of information is important to you. And I'm not telling you any shoulds, oughts, have to. I'm not shoving you in a certain direction. I'm just saying, just for yourself, brush everything else aside. How and where will you get the information that you need without triggering a panic or a fear that just makes you desperate? Give some thought. You're important, your family's important, the communication is important, and you need the information and the clarity in order to find the outcome you want with the impact that you deserve, and know what actions will get you both. All right, thanks for coming. Please click that button down below and subscribe. I would like us to stay together for a long time, and I really care about what's happening for you. And leave a comment if that fits. I would really like that. And come back tomorrow, because guess what? I'll be here. And I will have my hand out and I'll be looking for you. Bye for now.